What's up, everybody? This stupid thing. There we go. I can never have things just go right. What's up, everybody? Right on time, just like everybody thought I was going to be. Sorry about last week. My internet wasn't agreeing with me, and you know how it goes. Can't have everything go perfect. But this week's guest is, he actually was supposed to be the guest when we kind of took a little bit of a hiatus. So getting this done is actually like important for me to get over that hump of when things kind of went down. So this has been a long time coming. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him up. Waylon the Indoor Farmer.
What's up, everybody?
If it would pop up. Stupid thing. There we go.
Happy Wednesday.
True to form, technical difficulties on my end as always. I was saying this thing has been like 3 months in the making. Because last time we had the issue with my power going out, and then we kind of took a break for a little while. So glad to have you.
Yeah, you moved days and stuff, and I'm glad you're still going. Keeping it up.
Yeah, I'm actually glad it happened that way though, because you have a lot more going on now than you did then. So it's nice to be able to come on, and we'll have, there's plenty more to talk about. It's like
yes, I do.
You're like the kid that went from like 11th grade to 12th grade, and then you end 11th grade 5'4" and skinny, and you come back like 6'2" and muscular because you got so much more going on now.
I thought you were gonna say I skipped a grade, but no, that works too. I like either analogy.
It's like you came back beefier. You got shows on, what is it? Almost every day, right? If not every day, right?
Almost now. Like I have 4 different shows that I would say, and starting a new one tonight.
Yeah, I know it. I'm gonna help you out doing it. We had a long, expensive conversation about it last night, live and in front of everybody, which was good though. But you're speaking my language with that. You want to talk to
some people today too about it, and everybody I talked to about it seems to be pretty excited about it. But like I know, just like any other show, it's going to take some time before people know about it, know it's on, and all that. So no worries.
I don't think it's going to take as long as you think with you talking about it. We just talked about it on a live a little bit ago and stuff. And like, what's up, everybody? If you guys have any questions for Waylon too, feel free to put them in the comments. But yeah, it's right up my alley. I was like a board game kid, like certain ones I didn't like, but I always liked that shit, staying inside and playing board games. So I feel
like I got more into that as I got older. Sorry.
No, it's cool. I think a lot of people are and just don't really have, like, it's hard to find a group of people that are into it, like, around you.
You don't want to go to a shop. Yeah, you don't want to go, like, it feels weird to go there. I tried this, you guys. So, well, I'm not going to take it away. You go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going
to say I tried it once. Like, I had a friend in my like early 30s. I have an echo. You hear an echo?
No, I don't hear it. Well, it might be me. Oh.
It might be.
Let me see.
No, it's not me.
It might be my stupid tablet. Sorry.
Guys, help us out. If you hear it, let me know. Okay, I think it sounds better. My friend showed me this game Magic. So this is a friend of mine who likes to gamble a lot. But yet suddenly he's like, yeah, no, I like card games. And so he showed me the game Magic the Gathering. And I was like, oh, I never knew about this game. In my 30s, typically you think of it as like a nerdy game that younger, like Pokemon and whatnot, but actually it's a lot higher than that.
That's dangerous, though, getting into that game in your 30s when you have a little money. Because when you're a kid, it's like you get what you get. Your parents buy you a pack of cards here and there. But when you're in your 30s, you're making your own income, man, and you get like addicted to that game, you can spend a lot of money on some of them cards.
Do you have anything?
I don't know what's
Do
happening.
you have any extra tabs open or anything? Anything at all? Anything
hold
else
on. I'm
on
sorry.
the internet maybe that you could take off?
Yeah, let me see. Sorry, guys. I just got the new internet. Of course, this is like par for the course for me. It wouldn't be any other way if I didn't have 10,000 issues.
Well,
all
I'll
at the
just
same
explain.
time.
I'll finish explaining what I was saying though while you're messing around there. So what I was getting to is that he introduced me how there's like these card and game shops, and you go in there and there's all these board games and there's all these cool like interesting new style of games and fun party games and stuff. And then they hold these like little gatherings where everybody can play each other and do like tournaments and whatnot. That's cool, right? Well, I go in there and it's like they give me this look like you shouldn't be here. Like you don't look like a guy that should be here. Like I doubt it's the same look that stoners would give me as far as like, hey, who's this cop? You know, this guy posted on one of my videos today, or not today, it was a couple days ago, and in one of a private group that I'm in, and I was like, oh wow, no professionalism from this guy. But no, it's just funny to look from these sort of like more nerdy guys.
Yeah.
Another echo.
Everything's closed on me. This is crazy. Sorry.
Can you
guys
turn the volume down a little bit?
All right.
That might
be we had a place like that in the mall where I grew up, and my buddy would go do it. I was like the type of person that got along with everybody. So like I got along with like the kids who did that, and then I got along with the burnouts, and I got along with the athletes, but I never got into it. So every time he would go and do these tournaments, I would just walk the mall, but because I walked in there and it was like a record skip because I'm wearing like a FUBU shirt, like I didn't belong there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean it's a like a chess, it's a very strategic type game, and it's fun. But yeah. So my point is, like adults, it's like to go find one of those game shops. It's not easy just to go in there and fit in. But in this way, people can play from home. They don't have to do all the work. They can sit there and smoke, and they can just hang out and do that. So that's
we talked about yesterday, you're gonna have prizes for a bunch of different things too. It's not like you have to win the game to win a prize, and as it goes, it'll develop more. But
sure.
And you're gonna, there's lots of things you're gonna do to make it fun to watch. So it's not just watching people play a board game, which you just gotta. Yeah, you kind of gotta tune in to see what it is. It's gonna be fun. I really think it's gonna take off. Yeah, sorry. Like, follow, share if you guys can, please. My technical issues got me all flustered in the beginning. So you got that. So you got that. You're starting today, and then we can go like one by one if you want to talk about them. What are your other shows that you're doing?
I'll just go in order of shows. The show that I first made is, I just call it the Indoor Farmer, and that's sort of a generic term, as in the everyman, every person, whatever that you want to say, like a general person just trying to figure out how to farm indoors. And that show is kind of a weekly progress review on what I'm already out there doing, what I did this week, like what I tried, what I failed in, all of it. And what I try to do is I try to record the actual work and not just like snapshots of it, not just a time lapse, 6 months of work within a half hour or something. But I find that's difficult as I get into the production game. It's not as easy as you think to just show every minute. So yeah, it's something that I do there, and that's my main show. And that show isn't it may not be the easiest to gain viewers on because it's talking about self-sustainability, and that's not always the most exciting topic. Yeah, but I believe it should be more interesting because it's so connected with everything that most people do, right? So I wanted to popularize a subject that I didn't think was popular enough among other human beings. Mm-hmm. So that's why I did that. And it's like I'm going to use the Hollywood machine to sort of popularize something that we should be thinking about. Make farm rock stars and stuff like that.
I was telling you in the comments last week that I just like watching people who are passionate about shit talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's always, you don't realize you're into it, but when somebody talks about it in a way that's like tells you why they're passionate about it, it sucks you in. Like, just being in this community, I learned so much stuff that I had no idea. Like, I had no idea about any of it, and I'm learning more and more every day. Like, I would say I don't got my bachelor's yet in it, but I'm getting there. But yeah, it's cool to watch, and
I'm still learning too.
And it's growing more and more, because I think, like, we talk to each other about it all the time, but if you're sincere about something too, people catch on to that. And it's easy to watch when somebody's being sincere and they're not doing it for, the likes or the views or whatever it is. I mean, you think about that, but it's secondary to.
Right. It's important, but not as important as the main reason I'm doing it.
Yeah.
If I wanted the likes and shares, there's all sorts of underhanded things that I could do.
Yeah.
To
if you've ever had a brother, like dumb stuff like that they do on YouTube,
Yeah, or like just there's a lot of groups where you can get follow for follow and follow, like these different things. And it's like, and then you gain an audience of people who don't even know what you're doing or what you're about. And and that's not the fastest way to gain an audience, I guess. But I'm trying to gain an audience who cares about the way things are going and cares about the general survivability of us in general, as a people. So
that's why you started, right? Because we started about the same time. Beans pulled me into this like 7-8 months ago, and you said I didn't realize it the other day. You said you just started that long ago too.
I started doing the show. It'll be 2 years in June.
Yeah.
2 years doing the show, but only 7, or this is my 8th month of doing it live.
Yeah.
So I wasn't doing live streams until I had been doing the show like a year at least. And so after that, though, it took off because I was doing live streams were just smoke sessions and doing the thing where Facebook lets you sort of gain a bigger audience by sending out notifications to anybody's audience who is popped up on your live stream and all that. And it can be distracting. It can be deceiving because you think, oh, look at all the people in here. Well, they're not, it's like they're coming. They might like you once they show up and see you. So that's kind of the good side of things. But you also can't think of those numbers as natural numbers. They're everybody who's jumping in your box is getting notified to everyone. And so it's a double-edged sword. You can't let it run away with you.
Getting them to pop in is easy. Getting them to come back is the hard part. That's what it said. The sincere bit, like the sincereness and all that is what gets them to come back. Or the content too, like we'll talk about people in the boxes that I'm sure, but that clicked right away with me so that alone, I message you personally and ask like on a Sunday, hey, what's the topic this week? Just so I could, get it going in my brain.
I don't even know yet until like Wednesday. I decided. Yeah. No, I'm gonna get better with that. It's just like I have so many options now that I wrote a whole bunch of them down, and but yeah, people in the boxes is the second show that I made, and it sort of has some inspiration from a few YouTube podcasts that I watched. A couple of them that are more like current events, pop culture type shows, but they get up to 9-10 people on the screen. And they go for several hours, 5-6 hours sometimes. And, this channel's got like 500,000-600,000 subscribers. So there is an audience for those types of things, as long as there's some substance to it,
Well, and you're also good at.
Go ahead.
When it comes to that, you're also good at. I noticed right away. I actually talked to Beans about it. Like, you're good ringmaster, like reining people in and not doing it in a way that's like, yo, shut up, like. Not everybody's talking at once, because you'll politely tell somebody, hold on 1 second, or you'll, if you mute them, you'll explain why or whatever. So you keep it from like some of our lives where it's like sessions, like everybody's talking at once and it just sounds like one of your people in the box commercials. But you do a good job at like focusing it on people, so everybody can get what they want to get out. Because sometimes
I try. I'm getting better anyway. It doesn't always
yeah,
work.
no, you do good with it. Like it's intimidating sometimes when there's 9 people on the screen and you don't ever think you're going to get your piece out. So how you do it is
So sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. That's
It's
I was
tough.
finished. I was just thinking of a way
So
to
I
button
found that I
it.
needed to explain to people, especially people who haven't been doing this very long or haven't been on there with multiple people like that. If I hear you start to speak, and then they like you stop because someone else is overbearing, it's on me to come back to that person and be like, hey, I heard you were starting to say something. What's up? What were you going to say? Because the more quiet and reserved people are, it's harder to get them. There's no order that it has to go in, but I also think you gotta read the room when you've been talking for 2 minutes straight and no one else has gotten in on it. So it's one of those things. It's tough to do.
I think it's why you get 10 people in the box to talk about sneakers. You know what I mean? Because they trust that they're not just going to get trampled on the whole time, and that they're going to get their piece out, and it's not going to be. I'm a strong personality, so like I'm always the one taking over conversations, and I don't mean to, but it's those type of people. If you have a few of those, and then the quiet people, you make sure the quiet people get to have their part.
Yeah, and that's what I've been working on. Hopefully, it's gotten better, but we do have some, and I don't mind the people that come up and they don't even have anything to say. They can just hang out in the box, unless they start interjecting with random stuff. Like I've had people come up and just be very quiet, reserved, and just and unless I ask them something, they're just going to chill, And as long as there's space. But we found out last week that there was a few times when we had more people wanting in than there were spots. So we're going to be coming into that here shortly, and we might have to start rotating people out and saying, okay, going to get the next audience member up to share their. But,
I think too, if you kind of mention that there's more people wanting to join, usually you'll have 1 or 2 people willing to step down and stuff like that too. But going back to the show you were talking about, self-sustainability, that's why you started doing everything, right?
I made it sort of like a video blog, like a vlog, as the youngsters might say. And I just thought, if I'm going to learn this stuff, why not make it a show where I kind of give a weekly, journal entry, as it were. And Steve-O, shout out to Sir Steve-O there, 815 Canafam. He kind of helped me hone the thought by saying it's a weekly review. It really is. But then by that point, I had already started my third show, which is a Indoor Farmer review show, which we'll talk about in a minute. But by that, so I'm thinking, well, I can't call them both reviews. So I'm like, okay, well, it's a weekly progress report, on where I'm at and stuff. So both of those words work. And I know that's semantics, but it's like, well, I want to make sure they're diverse.
It's good to say that because you can look back and see where you were and where you are now too. So progress report's a good way of putting it. It's like you got these footnotes along the way that you can go to and see, like, this is where I was compared to where I am now.
And if you think about it, I'm working on getting a whole side support group built up on locals, and so this progress report is almost more like a report to my supporters. Supporters who are paying me with real dollars. $2 a month is the basic, but other people are paying more than that. And so the thing is, they might want to check in once in a while. Oh, hey, where's my money going with this guy? Oh, okay, so he's growing potatoes now. Okay, all right, so he's doing this and this, and maybe they're not like checking up on me, but maybe it's good to see, hey, this is what I'm supporting, this guy doing this stuff. And they're not supporting necessarily the production of the video, but that's part of the journey of growing as a person, self-sustainable. I can do all those things myself. Technology is definitely a part of life. Self-sustainability might turn into, a mule and a plow one day, if things, become dire and whatnot. But the thing is, for now, technology is going to be more and more a part of farming. So to put support and money behind learning all of this stuff is all going to help me in the long run when it comes to, running security cameras and running, all the different technology to automate things that I might do in the future as far as farming goes. So I don't see the show stopping. Even if I have a big facility one day, I can still do a weekly show where, think of things like, it's kind of a bad example, but like Pawn Stars or something. They have like a reality show sort of based around their business. Well, I could still totally do that with that. So anyway,
even the primitive stuff. I mean, if you can go and do, there's so many primitive things that we all don't realize that are super valuable in a world today where, like, if the grid does go down or something like that, like the primitive stuff's what you want to know for stuff like that. You can't rely on YouTube or looking it up to how to do it. So yeah, there's plenty of ways to go with that. What got you into the self-sustainability? Were you always into it, or was it like?
Well, I guess a combination of things. I've seen a decline in a lot of like a breakdown in a lot of how do I put it, like skill development within our society. So since we have since the population is getting so high, which I don't think is a bad thing, we start to what's the word, specialize more and more and more and more. Very specialized. You got a guy that only makes screws. Another guy only makes nuts.
No jack of all trades.
Right. Like there's a lot less general knowledge. So I think really our path in the future is a sort of a blend of the two, a more well-rounded student and maybe a better way of teaching the kids and all that. That's a whole side thing, but a way of teaching kids things that are general knowledge that would be good if you were anywhere with people or without people.
Yeah.
So I hear an echo again for some reason.
Sorry about that. I don't hear it. I hope you guys don't. It's also cool, like in a pinch, to know something, right? Like if you're in a group of people and something happens and you just kind of know how to deal with it and nobody else does. Like it
makes your brain think differently, because you may not know a specific trick, like you're saying. You might have a good idea in the moment because you have such sort of general knowledge of how things work. What types of plants you can eat, what types of how to find your way through the woods, like Boy Scout type things. But then add on top of that how plants are important to us.
Mm-hmm.
If we think, oh yeah, grandma's got a garden, we get food out of it and stuff and whatnot, but they don't know how important that is to them if a COVID hits or something that they can't get to the grocery store. So even if it's little temporary things or long-term things, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's good to know why it's important. Not necessarily, hey, I don't have time. Maybe I don't know the first thing about growing things, but at least I know how important it is to us that we grow. We know how to handle nature, not just conquer it, not just to kill it and pave it down, but to handle it. There's a certain way to do it right. And
I noticed that with like, when I started to do woodworking and stuff, and then I'm doing other things. The things that I kind of figured out on myself with like the woodworking thing, whatever it is, like it travels over into other things. Like you were saying, you're like, oh wait, I could take this philosophy that I have here and put it here, and I never thought that way. So
that's why that's indoor farming. I'm learning farming. I'm learning plumbing. I'm learning electrical. I'm learning how to construction, hanging things and building things. All that stuff.
It teaches
on top of that farming. Yeah.
It teaches you an eye for the small details too.
Yes, I do not. I would like to get into that for sure, but I don't really grow enough yet. I'm mostly getting myself more knowledge base by growing random different things. Like right now I have some rainbow carrots I'm growing. So like a little mini homemade greenhouse. So not only do I think self-sustainability is important by growing food, but also by like repurposing materials and knowing what things that you really can't use again, and things that maybe you can. I say that because, you might have some things with toxic paint or other things about it that's not good to use. Untreated lumber when you're using it with water, and all sorts of, ins and outs of that. So I'm learning all those things, and I'm like, well, shit, why not make it, record some of that and then pontificate on it a little bit on the interwebs, put out some good content for a change.
Yeah,
I don't mean good as in like the most intellectual content, but like, in a positive content sense.
Content you're interested in, and obviously other people are too.
I mean,
but I was saying,
everybody who eats food is my audience.
I was saying too, it gives you like an eye for the details. Like, because you were showing last week, you had a little bit, you thought you might have mold on one of your plants, and like something so tiny could have caused that. So it teaches you to look at these dumb little things that you wouldn't otherwise think of, like with the woodworking thing. If I shave a little extra off, I'm screwed. So yeah, it teaches you like that tiny little thing. You can't just brush it over and move on to the next thing. You have to every detail is important along the way.
Ronnie says home preserving and wine is something I love. Also, my grill rooms are all homemade. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to make up my own home grill room. So I'm sort of like the newbie, the curious newbie that's learning as I try to gain knowledge from a lot of these other people who are actually out there doing this thing commercially or not. Like I had Dan the Mushroom Man on this week, and we did a mushroom farm tour and stuff like that. And it was awesome because he's several steps ahead of me. And it's great to be able to see somebody who's successful on his own, doing it in his house, all these things that I'm trying to do. So it's really to motivate people, to show them, hey, here's a person who hasn't ever done it before, ever grown anything, never tried to grow anything. And, here's my journey, so that maybe you might try it too.
Well, they can watch you make the mistakes too. So maybe the mistake you make prevents a mistake that they would make. I always thought that was important to watch. I always learn from other people's mistakes. Like
exactly.
Yeah. As long as you pay attention, it's definitely good for that. What day and time is that show? I don't think we got into the
Monday night at 8:30 Central Time.
Okay. And then you do the review show.
Yeah. I started doing a review show just to, sort of for multiple reasons, but to give myself a reason to get out into the community and sort of meet other small business owners, people who are in that struggle along with me, trying to build something that maybe the people around you don't necessarily understand, but maybe they're still making it anyway. They're getting down the road and getting success with it. Mm-hmm. So it's those types of people that I'm out there meeting, and it's a networking sort of opportunity, but it's at the same time it's a way to showcase local small businesses and give them a free publicity, and it should be sort of a win-win. That's sort of how I structure most things. Make them a win-win.
Well, the one you did 2 weeks ago, I was telling you that was like, that's my type of place. They had all the things you can't find in regular stores.
Relics. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's cool. It's cool stuff like that. Because when I see a store like that, I was saying I have one attached to a grocery store I go to, and I get excited to go grocery shopping because I want to go in there because they always have something new. So it's cool. It's almost like treasure hunting. You don't know you want something, and you walk in there and see, and it's like, oh, like now I want it. So it's cool to show stuff like that. It's good for, like you said, it's good for everybody because they get something out of it. You get something out of it. And those little places, sometimes they're like in a strip mall that everybody drives by and doesn't realize anything's there because, they never had a reason to look. And then all of a sudden you put it up there like, oh, I'm going to try that place now. I didn't even realize it was there. You hear that all the time with places like that. Like, I didn't even know you were here, because you don't have the money to advertise or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I do have the highest concentration of followers in my local city here, which is crazy because that means that most of them are not the ones that are there when it's live.
Yeah.
And so which means that they're all watching when it's not live. Because I've looked at the analytics, when it talks about who's watching your videos, it shows you what cities, what countries. And it's just funny because I don't know. I couldn't name a dozen people from my local city, but it says there's like 90 some people from my local city that follow and watch. And I'm like, wow. So that just gives me an idea of like the local impact that I do have, even how small it is, but it is higher than say anywhere else. So
yeah, that's why we're heading your way for 420, because we looked at the analytics and the analytics said, hey, Illinois, that's where everybody's at. So we'll talk about.
I was surprised for that. But hopefully it's not going to step on toes. And I hear, I know that you guys will be there for several days, so there'll be opportunities to go around and see everybody and whatnot. But
no toes are getting stepped on. All the toes were talked to. We talked to all the toes.
This little piggy went to market.
Yeah, exactly. Every toe was discussed with every toe. But yeah, so that one's, you said that's Tuesday, right?
Tuesday is a review show, and I'm trying to set them up to be sort of late night talk show style. Is kind of the idea. It's kind of like the old school, the Johnny Carson, the Tonight Show, all these things that we ended up. There's like a dozen of those now. But why not? Why not use that against itself? The whole machine, the whole celebrityisms, the whole gossip, all of that thing that we know of as pop culture and whatnot. Why not use that towards the benefit of all people, which is, learning where the heck our food came from, learning what we can do with things if we put our minds to it, all of that.
What's cool about that show too is, so you come on and you're basically showing Steve-O, your co-host, who we'll have on here in a couple of weeks. You're showing him for the first time this place that you're walking him through, because you pre-recorded the walkthrough and stuff. So he's asking questions that people might be interested in. So you're walking him through and you're telling him all these little details that you might not have said otherwise, because he wants to know about him and stuff. So
it helps. Yeah.
And then you open it up after that to kind of like a sesh, just kind of come hang out. But in the beginning, it's you two, you're walking him through and you're giving the place its due. And then you kind of open the door for everybody to come hang out. And,
yeah, I started doing that just because we're late night and we have an open-ended finish time. I mean, I who knows? Maybe one day I'll have to start like editing that part out and just or there are other options to do that. But for now, it's not a big deal.
Well, I like it, and I think it'll get people to stick around, because then maybe they want to come up and hang out, and they'll stick around for maybe if they were interested in one and not the other, or vice versa. It kind of gets both types of people, but
I guess people do come up towards the end there for sure.
Yes, Steve-O's a good co-host. He asks a lot. He asks the questions like, even like if I'm not thinking about or something, he'll ask a question about something specific you were looking at, and then you kind of go back and talk about it, and it's good. It's a good dynamic that you guys have for that. It was like perfect that you guys got together and started doing that, because it's a good back and forth. Like if it would be me and Beans, I'm like, you look stupid in that.
I always imagined it having a co-host. So I've tried 3 times, and all 3 times now it's been a long bearded person.
Well,
all 3 times it's a guy with a beard that like this long.
He outdoes your beard.
What the heck is going on here?
Well, those are the wise ones. Somebody's wise when they have a long beard.
That's what I said. That's the look I'm looking for. It looks like a farmer with that long beard,
You want to be
all right. I need you to get some overalls, bib overalls, and I need you to get a corn cob hat, straw hat. Yeah. And then like a piece of straw.
Close one eye a little more than the other. You have to have one eye closed a little more than the other. Like you're whizzing.
Holding the pitchfork, Yes, that's it. We got the perfect look there for you. Lila, what's up? Lila Grace in the house.
And then Wednesday, you said that's going to be the board game thing, which Wayland's Locals.com thing is right below his name there. if you guys wanted to play the games, what did you say? You have to be a locals supporter for a month, right?
You do have to be a monthly local supporter, and I'm still kicking around another idea, which you didn't hear me say yet. I'm thinking about making it only local supporters that have had that are into their second month.
Yeah.
Because if somebody wants to, they could pay for this month, say get in the game, and then not pay for next month and just be paying $2 to possibly win, and then they're out. So
and that's not fair to the people who are actually we said it yesterday. It's more of a thank you to the people who already support you. And if you can get a few more supporters through it, great. But it's more of a nod to them for supporting you.
Right. And then I not to get into the whole thing, but I want to make sure people know if you're not supporting me on locals, you can still participate, not actually in the game, but you can do you can affect the game, and I can explain that further, but I'm trying to create a way that everyone can be involved, even if you don't feel like you can do the locals, you don't like it or don't plan on getting out of Facebook, whatever it is. But in the comments, if you throw stars or a Cash App, I'm thinking about 50 cents. Every 50 cents, you can knock back the house, which is me. I'm the house. And the people who are playing against me will then get an advantage to maybe win. I feel like 50 cents should be fine. I don't know, maybe 25 cents. I don't know.
Well, it's in its infancy too. You're going to have little growing pains here and there. But that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like, we always bounce stuff off each other, so it's always growing. All of these things, like, with Are You Smarter? Like I said yesterday, it's always growing into something more. It's never going to be, this is what it is, and that's it. There's always going to be ways to expand and make it better. So,
do you think you'll ever have an ending time for it, or is it always going to be sort of?
I don't think so, because the categories vary. So, like, if I have a category where I want you to study the picture, and that takes 15 to 30 seconds, and then I ask a question. Plus, we talked about it before, I don't want it to feel rushed. It's supposed to be like hanging out, but we just happen to be playing this trivia game at the same time. If you feel rushed and people feel rushed, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. So we want it to just be like easygoing. It is what it is. And through that, it's actually been like, probably it's been real tight lately. Like, we've been getting through the actual game in like an hour and a half, because like it's comfortable and everybody wants to play and stuff. So just through doing that, it's kind of setting its own ending time. And then we hang out like with you doing the other show. We hang out after and talk and whatever, You
guys have gotten a lot smoother with it too, I would say. And also now that you're like sort of more double teaming it.
Yeah.
And in the long run, it's all going to get better and easier, faster.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I've only been doing this 7 months too, so I've been like, I'm awkward. I'm an awkward person, so I'm just now getting to the point where I'm a little less awkward and a little more confident, because it's, you're seeing people like it and stuff, and once you see people like your stuff, it kind of makes you get a little more confident about it and all that. Plus, we had a couple weeks there where I wasn't the host, and I realized I'm a pretty good host. So, it helps. That helps too. So,
well, knowing you're also aware that you're a talker. The toughest thing for a talker is to be both a talker and a listener.
Yeah.
And knowing it is half the battle, just like G.I. Joe says.
Yeah, in the beginning too, yeah. So I was awkward, and also I'm a talker, and I'm stuck home with 4 kids all the time, and this was the first time I talked to other adults long form. So I was just nonstop. Now I've said everything I have to say. I'm just repeating myself. So so now I can talk a little less. But yeah, so Waylon's Locals is right there. So if you guys want to play a month from now, and you want to support him, even if you don't want to play the game, you just want to support him.
Well, yeah, just come in and check it out tonight. It'll be the first night doing it, but yeah, to your point, if you guys decide to sign up after watching, then I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait until the second month. Yeah, because right now, as it stands, I think there's only one person that didn't sign up last month but signed up this month. So for the most part, anybody that wants to play can play. So
yeah, and like I said, with you too, we're the same way. You're always trying to think of different ways to make things fun or make things enjoyable to watch and stuff. So I don't think you'll ever watch one that's worse than the previous one unless something crazy happens. It's always a little bit better each time. So
I'm trying.
Yeah. So then you do this. That's Wednesday. So then Thursday, that's the one. Not that I don't like all the other ones, but
that's one everyone likes that one. I think all the personalities on screen is what people like, and they also, like you said, they also like to see this sort of flow where nobody's like yelling at each other, nobody digresses into just vulgarity or anything like that.
You can have a
some contentious moments, but what?
Well, you can have a conversation with someone you disagree with in a cordial way, and not just call them a piece of shit and leave the thing. I don't think I've ever seen that. Maybe I wasn't watching it happen, but I've never seen it go, well, fuck you, and then somebody leaves. It's always a back and forth, and it seems that at least it's happened with me that understanding other people's thought processes on things kind of helps with your thought process too. And you can watch some people kind of ease up on their steadfast thoughts on it as things go on, and they realize there's so many different ways to look at something. And that's for the tough ones. I mean, like I said, we talk about sneakers and
when trying to diffuse the situation, but sometimes I'm the one in the situation. It's harder to diffuse when I have the stronger urge to completely explain myself.
Yeah.
To the point where I explain to you how I'm right. And then then it's like, oh, okay. So that'd be a point of contention within me, but I'm usually pretty cordial. So Wayne says, so if we join, we get an inflatable canoe, correct? Well, Wayne, I mean, you just have to see what the prizes are. We've already got 3 donators for the first game alone, and I need to get a hold of them actually, but on top of myself, so that's 4 donators on the first game alone, and we have Diz donating some of his time, so that would be 5 donators. I mean, I know Steve-O's down to hang out and help out, so we've already got several people interested in helping to get this thing off the ground, because I think of it like it's like a game show, but using kid games a little bit like how Bearded Buds does the Saturday morning cartoons. They're dressed up in onesie PJs of different characters and whatnot. Yeah. And it's hilarious, and it's fun, and it brings that kid out in you, except it's still designed around stoners,
Yeah, and you want to go back to that sometimes, especially with everything now. You got to watch everything you say, and everybody hates each other. You want to go back to when Tom and Jerry was on and shit, or when we were just playing games. We used to play on rainy days in my house. There was 5 of us, so we would make carnival games. Like I would set up my wrestling figures, and we would roll a ball at them, or we'd ride a mattress down the steps, like things like that when you're a kid that you just want to go back to, but it would look ridiculous if you did it as a 36-year-old man.
Right, and that's why it's like I just want to capture a little bit of that, and I don't know, I keep going back to that, but people in the boxes. People Thursday nights 8:00 Central Time. People in the boxes is a topic. There's a different topic every week, but they're common topics. They're topics that almost anyone would have some kind of an experience with. And sometimes we even have topics where I know someone might say they don't do those things, or they've never done this thing, and that's an experience to listen to in itself. Well,
sneakers. I said, sneakers last week. Like I never cared about sneakers, but I sat there and talked with you guys about shoes for 2 hours out of the 3 hours. I sat there and talked about it and had something to say about it.
We still did some talk. There was still some stuff that we didn't even touch.
Well, you branch out. If somebody thinks like when you did the fear the week before, people are going to think things you're scared of, but you branched out into different types of fears and what it does and how it manifests and stuff like that. So it's not just on the nose about that topic. It's that topic.
There's an angle. There's always an angle.
Yeah.
It's not just a blanket topic. Like this week's relationships the angle is not he said, she said. It's more like how tough is it to have a relationship with other people in general.
Yeah.
Family members,
boss employee,
bosses,
brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend,
and just
stranger. Yeah.
We could divulge into stories all night about that. So that one will be
Yeah.
pretty easy to get going on. It could be contentious at some points, it might come up, but that's part of the allure of the show. Like, we want to see what happens when those topics become a little bit contentious. I guess I keep coming back to that, but
so far everybody's proven that they're not like ridiculous about it, even if they disagree. I know a couple weeks ago you had a couple people disagree with you, but it never got anywhere. But like, all right, let's agree to disagree and move on. Like that's it never gets to that point, like I was saying, where somebody hates somebody else because they were both on People in the Boxes and disagreed with each other. So that's what's good about it. You can't do that anywhere.
It's actually a networking show.
Yeah.
The people that come in and come up on the screen, and a lot of times they connect after that.
Yeah.
That's a show that brings other creators together, but also allows for space for the viewers in the comments to come up on screen and share their experience on the topic. So that's what the allure of the show is. It's kind of part group therapy, part Jerry Springer, but it's all podcast.
Yeah, it's all just to enjoy one way or another.
And it helps people. I mean, we're talking about stuff sometimes that people don't want to talk about. And then when you get 5, 6, 8 people, 10 people on screen, all just opening their heart and minds about it and talking about, their genuine experiences, not just, hey, this is what I think about it, or this is my book knowledge on it.
Yeah.
We still look up stuff. We do pull things on the screen. Like, we look up the history, we look up actual definitions, whether you believe definitions or not, all sorts of ins and outs like that. And, I think that it feels good to and I learn something every time. I sometimes forget to write it down, but I've actually been keeping notes more, and I write down something, and now I started adding not only what I learned, so the topic, what I learned about it, maybe not just the topic, but something that I learned in the episode. It doesn't even have to be about the topic, but I always learn something. So I write down what I learned, and then I write down something that we forgot to talk about if there's something that we didn't get to,
Well, I remember particularly like the police episode. Like, it wasn't like, let's go on and bash cops. It was like, hold on, let's explore like what they're going through too. So it's like, even if it's not just one-sided, you know what I mean? You want to know both sides of the coin if it's one of those type of issues. It's not just let's all come in and agree that this thing sucks or whatever.
Right. It's about perspective, and perspective, just like literal perspective with your eyes. It's always better to have more angles on something before you make your choice about that. Or not necessarily choice, but before you form an opinion about a said subject. And I think that's what it really brings. It brings perspective. You have multiple people that are giving their different perspectives from different countries all over the world, and different ages, age groups, all up and down. So that's what's really nice about it. It's not a group therapy session for said disease or said issue or specific gender, whatever it is. This is anyone and everyone, and let's talk about it. So I'm sure we've had some contentious areas at times, but nothing out of control.
Well, it's cool to see someone that you otherwise, like, when you think like, who really thinks like that, and you like, oh, this person thinks like that, I would have never thought that, you know what I mean? And it's all based on your own personal experiences, but it's cool to see like, oh, this person who otherwise we agree with on most things thinks different than me about this. So like, it's not just people who think this way.
It's difficult to keep politics and religion out of it.
Yeah, it always ends up that way with anything.
But I don't actually mind. I mean, I can have an open sort of a generalization conversation, but a lot of people get really, really hung up on the fine details of certain things. Yeah. And if you give yourself perspective by sort of zooming out on the issue,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it becomes less of an issue usually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And how long?
It's 5 different shows so far.
You have a co-host on that one. That's Steve-O's on with you on that one
We
too.
got Steve-O. We got also the 42710 Waffle House, 42710 Smokers, and the 42710 Family, all run by the 2 people, Jason and Melanie. Those folks are pivotal to my base and to everything I'm doing.
He's also very.
What's that?
Well, Jason also is very like positive and like, hey, we're here to have, he's the
he's
same
very
way.
knowledgeable too, and he's also very similar to me in the fact that we both keep it. We usually keep things calm, and that kind of helps to have backup too for me, because it's hard for me to interrupt someone to tell them that they have been interrupting.
Yeah,
and it's like.
Like
said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Wait a minute.
Well, sometimes you want to be the one with the controversial opinion, so he can then be the you in that moment and kind of rein it all back in, because then it's not just pandemonium. You want that because you have a strong feeling on that. Now he can be like, okay, go, and I'll bring you back, or I'll rein everybody in. So it's always good to have a like-minded person that way too.
And we disagree on things, but we do it in a way where it's like, well, let's pose this question now. Well, what about this? And I actually got through school and some college courses just because I'm good at asking questions.
Yeah.
Like not even knowing all the answers of things, but asking intelligent questions can be one form of intelligence. It's almost like I don't know any answers, but I know lots of questions. I can question just about anything, but at the same time, I'm open to most things. So
I remember in 9th grade, my history teacher pulled me aside after class. I was like, that was a good question, because I asked him, because he was talking about rules of war. I was like, how do you enforce rules of war? Doesn't the strongest country just like, I'm not? And he was like, that was a good question for a 9th grade kid to ask, because I was like, who makes the rules? Is there like an overseer that can like snap his finger like Thanos to make you disappear and shit? So the questions that you don't think to ask or whatever are usually the ones that get the most out of something, not the question that everybody hears. I always say, like, when somebody watches ESPN and they just regurgitate what they hear on that, same with like Fox News and CNN and stuff. Like, that's not really, you don't really know anything. You're just reciting what you hear. It's about thinking about it and asking different questions and stuff.
It's about being able to question your own beliefs, really.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that people get very dogmatic in their beliefs, no matter what it is. If we bring it back to self-sustainability, maybe they believe that everything in the grocery store is good for them and that there's no issues. And, people that still drink diet soda and they're like, oh, aspartame's fine, no problem. Like people that smoke cigarettes and they don't have any problems with that.
Well, in that sense, the thing about listening is, like, if you think you're right and you're faced with the situation and you end up not being right, now you start to think about all the other people that had different opinions than you, and maybe you adopt that because you find out the hard way your way wasn't right. So if you're listening,
some people just double down. I like to prove it.
But what I'm saying is, if you're a sane person, you start to think about, well, this person said this, maybe that'll work. And, so it's good to have those conversations too.
I'd rather be corrected on something than to think that I'm right about it. Now, I've been called a know-it-all a bunch of times just because I like to talk about any subject. But I usually say things like, I'm fairly sure this is the case, or, I think this is the case. Whatever, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe this, and it's like people miss that altogether. They want to just get mad at you for knowing things.
Yeah, I hear you say a lot. Like, you can look it up. I don't know. I think it's something like, or something like that. You say, like, I think it's something along the lines of, it's not really like, I am all knowing.
There's nothing wrong with speaking in generalities if you don't have the details.
Yeah.
That's my
just making shit up that's when there's a problem.
Yeah, like, there's no need for that. Like, I don't need to think that you're super smart if you're just telling me something that's you have no idea about,
Yeah. So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you got anything
Two
coming?
on Wednesday now. I do two.
Yeah,
on
Wednesday. Yeah, for tonight. But so that leaves Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I know you have
Sunday. I always attend the. I know you guys have your Sunday show, which is actually after this one, but I always attend the Sunday meetup over there on Hi Brother, and I know you're in there now, so maybe we'll get you to come check it out this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely worth a look at for any men out there that want to join an all male group. It is cannabis sort of oriented, but it doesn't. You don't have to be a cannabis user for it. It's not just talk. It's funny. I'm on the screen. I usually come up. Ash usually lets me up, but I'm usually like the only one that's over here chonging on, like smoking the bong, and but they don't know in minds because it's called a Hi Brother, HIGH.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't smoke, and I was invited. Well, except for when I make stupid coconut bowls and stuff. But yeah, so I got invited. You don't have to be. I tell everybody that all the time when they ask. When I tell them like what we do on Facebook and stuff in the community. I mean, like you. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's not just about that. It's kind of like the mindset. So
right.
I always try to bring people over that don't necessarily that aren't that into it and stuff. So
I think any sort of thing like what you guys are doing with Fire and the Whole Family, that's going to create a sense of belonging, camaraderie, friendship, all those things that will pull in people that aren't just smokers.
It's dug me out of a few holes mentally. Just those people that are,
As far as I know, you're the only one right now, but it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen.
So then I know. So you have any plans for anything else you guys talking about? I know the weekends are tough for you because
yes. Weekends are tough, but I could always do a late night show on the weekends. But I also like to keep my weekends open as well. So
I imagine too, if it's something that you're into enough, you would do it. But you don't want to just do things to have every day of the week full.
Or I could do it like this. I plan on doing. I actually would like to do one-on-one interviews as well. I like asking the questions as well. So I would like to do something such as this, but I could do that, pre-record it, and then put it up anytime. So I could throw that up on a Saturday at nighttime or whenever I want, during the day or something. So I think that makes sense to pre-record because then I don't have to. I know sometimes the audience does have pretty good questions, but I don't know. Anyway, that's my thought because I can do it anytime that they're available. Is really.
Speaking of that, any questions you guys might have? I know we had one or two, but
they're telling me I should fake it till I make it, and that is exactly what's going on, ladies.
That's what everybody does. Nobody really knows what they're doing until they figure it out.
Yeah, but how often do you see someone making a podcast of something as they're trying to learn it? Like there's so many clips on YouTube and stuff where they condense 6 months worth of work down into like 30 minutes and they're only showing parts that are crisp and clean and all that. You're not seeing that the grind that it takes to figure these things out and the fact that you might, like when I say figure these things out, some people might think, oh, well, why not just go get a book about it? Yes, I get that. But when I've done that and also have 10 or 20 other people, friends, wonderful growers, other experts, so to speak, telling me different things, this and this. I do it this way. I do it that way. It's so diverse that you basically have to feel your way through it.
Yeah. You have to pick and choose.
Find your own way, your own method that you like the best. And I went after one that's not super easy to do right off the bat, but it's not, it's been coming along, the aquaponics.
I actually go for those. I go for the road less traveled when it comes to stuff like that. The one that not everybody else is doing.
Well, not everybody has the answers. People say, well, this is how it's always been done. That doesn't mean anything. So that's why I'm like, well, I want to figure out if I can do it this way or that way, or what happens when I do this. Is it going to mess up, or is it going to, and I'd like to see that process too. And I thought, well, why not make content out of it? Because then it becomes valuable. Those mistakes are valuable not only to learning for myself, but then I also learn. It really sinks in because at first I make the mistake, I recorded it, so then I'd have to take the time to take that footage and put it together in a video, which makes me remember it again. And then I play that video live while I commentate on it, which is another time to watch it, and also other people to ask questions about it. And Steve would stop me and say, "Well, what's going on here?" All those things combined means I'm tripling down on learning that lesson.
And it makes you learn it, because nobody wants to look foolish once, let alone twice. If you do the same thing twice in a row and it happens, so you don't want to look.
Yeah, right. Especially that makes sense. I don't really think of it that way, but you're right. I wouldn't want to be finding out that after doing this show for whatever, another year from now, I have the same issue coming up over and over again.
Yeah, so it makes me
start pulling my hair out about it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my problem. Sometimes I get I get frustrated so easily.
What's up, Rodney?
You overlook a lot of stuff then that is a teaching moment or whatever. So speaking of figuring out shit as we go, we're doing a live show.
What's up, Sarah? Sorry.
On 420, and that is a figure it out as you go situation. But that's more than just like you used to be just you. Now it's you and Steve-O. But with this, we have a whole group of us able to bash our heads together and figure out all of the details for it. And I'm actually
that can be tough too. A lot of hands in the
well, but we're all kind of it's kind of too, you have control of what you want to do, and then we have control of what we want to do, and then it's like then we mesh it together. So it's not really one, you don't really have to have a vote on every single thing, just the few things. But I'm actually enjoying that as much as I enjoy like the Are You Smarter questions coming up in new categories and stuff. So it's fun to me, and I can't wait to see how it turns out, if it's going to turn out as as I think it's going to, or worse or better or whatever. But that's been fun to do, and we made that out of positive out of a negative, basically. So it's cool that we that we're all learning that together too, because going live on here is one thing, but getting the club and doing all that, it's a leap of faith that it seems to be working out.
Step up, huh? Step up, guys.
And it's fun. It's fun to do. It's fun to think about just all the wacky things that we talk about and bounce off of each other that are like the way our minds, we watch how each other's minds work when we're throwing ideas out and stuff. But the good thing about it is, like I said, we're like-minded, and you always want to innovate, and it's every day something new comes up with it, and that it's going to be like, we're going to squeeze every little bit out of it that we can, as far as like making it great. There's not really going to be any lulls. And
squeeze every last drop, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're already hoping that we get the second night. So that's a whole extra night to do new things, because you don't really want to repeat yourself straight up, like, word for word and stuff. So that's like you were saying before, doing the other things makes you almost prepared for that. Like all this live stuff that we do and figure out, it kind of prepares you for how you have to think when you're doing a live show, and
not worrying about too much, and being relaxed about it and stuff.
And Beans even said
in the space here to see if we can set up the game while we're talking.
Beans even said, like, it's crazy how it was like he realized, sometimes all you have to do is believe in an idea and go with it, and how it can pick up steam.
It's like you said about the passion behind it. You can really feel, like, you can tell if somebody's actually got passion, or if they're just saying like general things, good vibes, to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing if you're shouting it out in the comments, but it's another thing if that's your whole shtick,
Mm-hmm. It's cool too to see all the, we have our regular people in the comments all the time. It's cool to see them equally as into like the idea of it and wanting to toss ideas out or even just promote it, just tell everybody about it and stuff. It's cool to see how everybody's into the same idea. You know what I mean?
Well, you guys are garnering support from people to where they want to shout it out and they're in the comments telling people thanks for stopping by and
so are you. Yeah, I mean,
stuff,
yeah. It's this community in general is cool with stuff like that. It's a real like share philosophy. It's not like your success is my failure type thing.
I won this one. Are you smarter?
Mondays at 7.
Other things, yeah.
And that's what's cool too. And I think that's what's going to happen with your board game thing. The prizes are getting better and better as time goes by, and we're able.
That happens suddenly today. It was like, whoa. Okay, so you're donating, and you want to donate too? Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Eric was in the comments a little bit ago. Hey, what up, Silos? Silos, the man. I need to tell him about it.
I didn't see if anybody asked any questions. We were deep in conversation there, and I kind of.
Well, you should make a banner for this show. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but that way when people come in, like, where am I at?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
On here,
that will happen from now on.
What is this? And then that way like who tonight's guest is. Whatever.
Yeah. If anybody had a question, I'm sorry if you want to put it in the comments.
He's interviewing me, guys, so that right now is the time to poke and prod me. Right now is the time for the questions.
Like I said, my mind goes in a certain direction. Sometimes I don't think about the obvious questions that maybe everybody wants to know. So feel free. Help a brother out. But yeah, the 420 thing is going to be fun.
I think it will be. I think honestly, I think the way we're thinking, we may end up having more content like planned than what we can actually pull off. So I feel like it'd be smart to have sort of a short version and a long version, so to speak. Yeah,
it's a good problem to have. Or after the fact, we could always, if there was extra, we could always sprinkle it here and there. And I think every once in a while you have the things that are the things you go back to. I think that's going to be one of them. Like one of the things you always go back to when you're trying to either plan something or explain something or whatever like that. I think it's going to be like a benchmark for at least us as a group.
For sure. It'll easily be a learning experience for us as well as an awesome good time.
Steve had a question. Hold on.
Steve-O. What's he asking?
It's at the bottom there on the screen. He says, "So how did you find such a good-looking co-host?"
Well, I went trolling through some alleyways, and it just came to me. I thought, well, what if I went out and found like a Keebler elf, or maybe like David the gnome, And I was like, well, no matter who he is, he's going to have a long beard.
You thought he was going to give you the answers on how to get to the promised land. You thought he had all
the brick road. He said he sold me some magic beans, and those beans didn't do shit. Pardon my French. And then he said, "Well, I'll just be a co-host on your show then instead of that." I'm like, "Oh, all right, that'll work."
The beans are actually the first thing that you started planting, and you thought that you were a bad farmer, but it turns out that they were just rocks.
Bad beans. Bad beans. All right. So yeah, that camera angle definitely won't work for this. Oh, yeah, this is exciting, you guys. Exciting for sure. I like making new shows, but I can't make infinity shows. But this is my one show that I do a bunch of giveaways. Although, speaking of giveaways, this week's People in the Boxes tomorrow, there will be a couple of special items.
Nice.
Up for winning. So we've already been told by someone that they were putting up these special, very, very special, unique, almost one-of-a-kind items tomorrow. Anyway,
Is it going to be secret on how to get them, or is it going to be announced on the show, or is it going to be?
I don't know. I think we might have to just play a wheel, spin a wheel or something. I don't have any other ways handy at the moment.
Well, we were talking about. I know
what's
one
one
of
thing
the
nobody
things.
knows about you?
One of the things I always wanted to do on Are You Smarter is like if somebody had a wrong answer that was so funny that it caught me off guard that I wanted to like randomly give away something like something little for that. So I don't know if it was maybe if somebody, had a great point or something like that, or if it's the
I
wheel
haven't
thing.
decided. That's probably a good idea, something like that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I really feel like these items should be to my supporters. Although Steve-O can do what he wants, we'll figure it out. But Steve-O asked, "What's one thing nobody knows about you?" Wayne had a question. Lots of question marks. A bag of holding. What am I missing there, Wayne?
I don't know.
All right, Wayne, I'm going to go back for you, buddy. I don't see it. Oh, I don't see, it says yum. Okay. No, can't help you with that. So one thing nobody knows about me. I don't know. I was 2 belts away from black belt in Taekwondo.
What he's trying to say is fuck around and find out. It's like, I'm just kidding.
That's probably a good thing to put out there, right? Hey, 2 belts away. As if someone's taking me out. Like, I was 2 belts away. It's taking me. Oh, man. No, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. I was 2 belts away.
What they don't know is you actually draw your beard on every morning, like some women do with their eyebrows.
It's probably thin. Can't see it. Oh, yeah, I am a twin, Val. I'm a twin. See,
you're a twin?
Valerie knew this, though. So that's not a thing that
I didn't know that. Identical?
Valerie, did you know I was 2 belts from black belt in Taekwondo? No, I don't think you did.
His twin's actually a black belt, though.
No, I would definitely not say that.
Fraternal or identical?
She is.
Oh, she is obviously not identical.
Not identical. Her beard is the same, but other than that, she's not identical.
That's cool. That's always everybody always thought.
Point your bald spot. You want to see my bald spot, Michael?
Oh snap! Yeah, that's from the hats, man.
You see any bald? You see any bald up there?
Everybody always thought growing up that me and Beans were twins. We always hated it. Because I don't think we look anything alike, but
just the same age.
Yeah. Well, a year. We're Irish twins. We're like a year and 3 months apart.
Valerie, you think I've said that? I don't think I've ever said that. I might have
Hold
said
on.
that.
Valorie's gonna check her black book.
Well, she's seen more of me than I have, so I don't know. She's probably right. I'll give it to her. So Valerie gets a pass. She gets to play the game from the comments because StreamYard does not like her phone, and her phone does not like StreamYard.
See what happens when you're like an Uber supporter? Rules get bent for you.
Yep. She is a pro supporter at $5. There's $2. The $5 gets your name on the wheel and extra time. So this is the way I did. I set up the system where at the end of the month, I'm planning to give away, we'll say a good close to at least half of the basic supporter cost back as supporter appreciation.
Yeah, that's kind of what
the basic is $2, right? So $1 per person, and then you get your name on a wheel just by paying the $2. Then you get your name added again on the wheel if you are a previous month supporter. So anyone who supported me last month, this month they get 2 names on the wheel. And then they also get a third name on the wheel if they participate, if they're, at least coming through often enough that I'm seeing them. They don't have to come through every live. They don't have to watch the whole thing. Coming through, saying hi, showing that love, sharing and liking, and all those good things. You see, a general amount of participation. They get another wheel, another name. And then the 4th name, if you pay for the pro, the $5. So I set it up to sort of incentivize people, if they don't think the content's worth it, but they still want to support me, but they maybe can't afford it. But this is a way that where I can give back a whole bunch of that, and eventually give back to several people and dozens of people eventually. It'd just be great. So
Yeah,
can't wait.
we did that with like we give away waffle spots for things for people who come in and like support but don't necessarily have it to pay for waffle spots and stuff. And we were doing for a while that we got to get back to it. I think with Beans coming up for Christmas, everything went haywire, and then all the stuff that happened right after. We were doing every month. Everybody who's given us at least 100 stars, we put their name on a wheel and spun. Not as like, hey, give us stars, because we don't ever really ask for them or want them, but just to say thank you for the people who do it anyway. So we actually have to get back into that, and we'll probably go back and for all those people that we didn't get the last month or two. But yeah, we were doing that for a while. It's nice to we always want to show that we like it's noticed. Like I notice when certain people aren't in the comments for a couple days, and like and then like we come back and like, okay, like we didn't piss them off, or we didn't, it's just life.
Right, they were sick or whatever, right?
Yeah. But I notice that there's the regulars that we get all the time, and I notice when they're not there, or when whatever it may be. So
and people work on incentive, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many of these giveaways where they say, okay, if you hash and dash, if you leave, you're not getting it. And I get that because your whole point with those is to get their numbers up and all this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one local supporter is worth like 10 or 20 random viewers to me.
Yeah.
Especially if they've done it like multiple months and they have it set up to. If you have it set up reoccurring monthly, chances are you're not going to remember, unless you're somebody who's like participating in it. You may not even remember after that. It's $2. Like it's like you don't even like, I don't know.
Well,
unless you're really tight. If you're really tight, man, you might be like,
they took the extra step to support you.
Right.
Yeah. So that's
the whole point and that way I get around certain rules as well. Like I don't want to have waffles, because a lot of people are doing those, and technically, Facebook can still come after you for those things, even though you're changing the letter or whatever, but this is completely different. This is people that are paying a monthly subscription fee on a separate platform. And so I think it helps in that respect too. It sort of look more, I think it legitimizes some of it a little bit more, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
But,
I know
about 10 more minutes here, and I'm gonna have to get dinner going for the boy upstairs.
I was gonna wrap it up in a couple minutes anyway. If anybody has any more questions, and you want to ask them, but I was gonna say when we get any sort of money in the account, it burns a hole in his pocket. And that's when we do like the scavenger hunt, and we just give away $5 at a time to a bunch of people, or we do whatever it may be, like those type of things to give it back in a sense, it's always, he always does things like that to give back. It's not like we have the money, what are we going to go get? It's more like, oh, look, we can do, we could do a game now because we have money to give away and stuff like that. So,
well, it's all still about building. Like you get something out of it, and I think if people hear your genuine speech about it, like I'll explain to you what it is I'm getting out of this plan or this idea, or what it is my ultimate idea is as why I'm even being monetized and why I'm trying to build a subscription and stuff. All of those things are things I just lay out there. It's like, I'm not just doing it because I want to help out the community. I'm not just doing it because I love you guys and I just want to give back. It's to generate
give and take
a value, generate a value in backing me. It becomes a value for anyone, whether you can spend time watching these live streams or whether you don't even have a single minute to spend on Facebook or locals or anything. You still have a value behind it, and that's the whole point, is to build incentive to do it, because then it's valuable to you. So
I know just on my end, doing the visual categories for Are You Smarter can take 4 or 5 hours for one category sometimes. So making a commercial and stuff that you do, that's time consuming. A lot of time and effort goes into those things to make it. So it's not necessarily like when they think you're like,
can we
just
play
grabbing at money, but it's really not, because it goes back into the thing too, to make it better. That's what I said when you said like you said you got a few commercials. I was like, damn, I know what it takes to make, like, to put Beanie's head on a Brokeback Mountain poster.
I shared our commercial in there for you. If you
yes, I was gonna ask you to.
Yeah, I'll share the people in the boxes after this one, but this is my
all right.
main
So
show.
we'll show this one. Let me see. I'm so terrible.
Woo, yeah.
Let me see. This is why I like having Beanie backstage, but he doesn't like me very much. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. It's Waylon the Indoor Farmer here. Come and check us out Monday nights at 8:30 Central Time on the NOK Network. You'll find your host, myself, and my good friend Sir Steve-O on a journey to find out what it takes to become more self-sustainable. We'll inspire you with a weekly progress review. Like, follow, and share. I need to come up with an ending somehow there. Anyway.
I got a couple ideas I could throw at you. I'll message you then about it. But you see you have the people in the boxes one? I'm just going to stay up here.
Do that now.
Okay. What I was saying in the meantime is, like, just to get the clips, it's hard. We always say, like, we got to remember, like, we got to start time stamping things for the funny things that happen so we can kind of do the same thing. But it's hard, man. And it's hard when it's, like I said, you were by yourself. Now you have a partner and everything, so it's great. But it's hard even for that, to go back and do all that is time consuming. Let me see. I'm going to take that down.
Pull up a chair, relax, and chill with our host.
Oh, no, that's not the right one.
Oh, all right. Hold on.
It's not the right one.
Topics using humor and professionalism.
Pop that down.
This one should be right. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's fitting. It's fitting for me to have all, like, little issues. People would start to think that I'm like a clone, if not.
I need to clean it up. I made it so many times and changed some things. So not that one.
Nope, not this one. I don't know if it didn't pop. It's not in my backstage yet.
I see it. You don't see
Do
it?
you? Sorry, that's why I wish Beans was back here, Beanie. Hold on, let me
take this other one down too. That one. So it's just me and this other video. You mean to re-add it?
Yeah, go ahead. Remove that and then re-add it. Sorry, guys.
My bad.
No, it's for some reason, I don't know. Everything's like a little delayed with me right now, and it just doesn't. StreamYard doesn't like me sometimes, as you know. When I tried to join some of your streams and I couldn't hear anybody, and I have to completely shut my computer
down. You see that one?
Yep.
Hey everybody, Thursday nights at 8 o'clock.
So this is people in the box.
Time. Come in, relax, and chill with our host as we discuss the hard topics using a little bit of humor and professionalism, mostly. On People in the Boxes, everybody. A show that asks you to share your experience.
Here's the thing with addiction is never say never because when you're an addict, like I never
That's it.
You know what's funny is all I hear in the crowd is Bean's voice.
Towards
whole
the end,
time.
he takes over. Melanie takes over in the beginning for sure, and then Bean takes over after that.
But yeah, those are
Funny.
time consuming. I mean, just the visual ones. So it's not like you don't put time back into it. And all
Well,
that
yeah,
stuff.
and you saw by me putting the wrong one up. There's like 6 different ones. I need to delete. I need to go in there and figure them out and delete the ones that aren't the current one. But I did this. Oh, I want to change this. Okay, to change that, and then keep exporting a new video and all that. And I'll show you one last one. My my outro that I came up with, which I think.
Oh, there it is. Beanie can handle it now. Beans, I'm leaving it up to you.
There it is.
Oh, did you leave? Okay. There you go, Beans. You play it.
Just to like play at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Kind of a way to do another little commercial towards the end, and it just goes into the book. This one's like a minute. The older versions of the commercial, but that doesn't matter. You have to hear them right.
Really just that. Like this, like putting the things to watching it to stop. Behind it all takes time. All those little things take probably the most time to do and figure out to make it look aesthetically pleasing.
Some of that is money too, because you can definitely pay and get templates and get all sorts of cool equipment and stuff like that. So it all goes up. But I'm using free equipment to do all the things I'm doing. So free, not free equipment, but free software called Clipchamp. If anybody needs to figure out a editing software, go check out Clipchamp. It's a free Microsoft Store app.
Well, all right, guys. If you don't have any more questions, Beans, you got anything backstage you wanted to ask? We're gonna let you get out of here and make your dinner. I'll see you later. Send me a message if there's anything you need me to do for the.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're going to just sort of wing it and feel our way through it the first time, kind of get people's interest in on it and stuff. And that's going to be in about 3 hours. Hopefully, my son, we'll have read a couple chapters of Winnie the Pooh by then, and he'll be out night. Guys, if you haven't tried it, man, the original Winnie the Pooh book, it is not a low reading level. That is not a kid's book to read. Like, there's a lot of like linguistics and super like complicated sentences with the way that they change the grammar up to depict a young boy's imagination and whatnot. So, but it's cool. I'll leave you with this idea though. There it is. Since you're a dad as well, I'm really thinking about, and maybe we can get multiple dads in on this, make it a thing where what I want to do is I want to record. It doesn't not necessarily have to be live. But I want to record myself reading children's books. And that way, say when my son's at his mom's house and she wants to give him something to watch, to go to bed, like not just something to watch, but like instead of reading him a book, he could watch me read him a book. And then other parents could then use the series of videos to let their kids listen to them on their ways, on the way to Nightsville.
Let me tell you, I flexed on my son's first grade class when he was in first grade. I went in there and read Fox on Socks by Dr. Seuss. And I read it how it's supposed to be read, like Fox on Socks on Rocks. Like I did it like that. And I was doing it, I was doing the inflection and everything. And every kid in the class had like their head sideways because I was doing it fast and doing it how I do it with them, That's a good idea though. It's fun too, because if you have certain people with different characteristics, like I change my voice for every character when I read and stuff like that.
I think it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. It also helps us to keep our reading skills in check. And it might be a little embarrassing. I'll trip over myself a little bit. But you made me think of an idea that instead of just myself doing it, I could get other dads to do it too. If anybody who wants to send in a video, and then I don't know. It's an idea that I'm still forming. I'm not 100% sure how it would go just yet.
You could do it. You all get alive together, and you all pick okay, this character, this character, this character.
Oh no, that's
like
an
a
idea.
Live
that's
play,
some synchronization that you have to do there. That'd be tough.
Or you just have everybody read a line, and then you clip it together that way. But
editing maybe.
Yeah, but no, that's a good idea. Either way, that's
a lot of editing. So I think what would be best to start it with is just each individual. Yeah. But then eventually, say I get a group of 5 or 6 dads who continually do it, then we could all come together and do sort of a collab episode. It'd be crazy.
It's funny though. It's like
call it yet. Dads reading books. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Winnie the Pooh thing you were saying. Like, it's not a hard read. When you think Dr. Seuss, you think small words, but the way they're put together and how fast you're supposed to read them in order to make it through. Like I tongue-tied a bunch before. I practiced to go to his school. For like 2 days, I'm reading that book to remember. And I went in there like a pro. And all them kids were like, my son was the coolest that day. They're like, your dad read that.
Catch me. Catch me with my pants down.
Yeah. Like my son had cred after that.
Very cool.
But
so I will get going. We could talk all night for sure. But that's just one idea, one of the many ideas that I have. But that's just one I think would make sense, because I try to make all my ideas have double meaning, multiple meanings, at least 2 or 3 reasons for doing something.
And like you said, rewatchable is always
that's what I steer towards. I steer towards things that can be rewatched for sure.
Yeah, same with us.
I don't know if you feel like there were any questions that didn't get asked, guys, or anybody who's watching this, rewatching, definitely ask the questions. They will relay them to me if they come in the comments or whatever, or tag me and ask me, whatever it is.
Well, I was thinking too, at the 420 event, we're all going to be together, and then we're all going to be on stage together. Maybe we do some sort of thing there, like open it up. Open it up for that. So there'll be more opportunities one way or another. Like you said, you wanted to start doing interview shows too, and that's where you kind of tell information about yourself in that too. So there's always somewhere to find out something. Valerie knew he was a twin just by watching him. So there's always ways to know more. Just watch. But all right, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking.
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you in a couple hours.
Appreciate it, everybody. Appreciate it. 3 hours. Let's see how it works. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And I was actually very much on time today, which I know it shocked me too. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your questions. We'll see you later. Fire in the hole.